Building a social life is one of the key components to having a fulfilled life. But if you're an introvert, this is something that you really struggle with. So you find that your energy gets drained being around people and socializing, compared to someone who is an extrovert who draws energy from socializing, meeting people and talking to people. Therefore, it can make you feel burnt out as a person, and this burnout can really be detrimental to how much social life and how much community you can build. The key to building a social life as an introvert lies in understanding and honoring the true nature of your own self, which can align to enable you to kind of be that person that you want to be. I'll be sharing this some tips that you can use and some pointers that you can look out for. And for those who do not know, I am an introvert and an extrovert, but my introvert is more than my extrovert. So meaning that I'm intro extra. However, my extra is only intentional because sometimes I like to be around people just for me to feel like I'm not a lonely person or I'm not alone type of thing. So with my friends, I'm a little bit extroverted, but in social life and social settings and parties and crowds and events, I'm very extroverted. I always want to rush to come back home. I find happiness. I find, fulfillment in being in my room or being at home with my family, reading a book, going for a run, going for a walk. The idea of being around a lot of people makes me overstimulated and makes me tired. But I have managed to work around it, hence why I can make YouTube videos, why I can, meet up with a couple of girls to go for shoots in London, why I can go for events and maybe to talk to 2 or 3 people and not feel so much drained. So you don't look at your being introverted as a curse rather than a blessing, but take it as a blessing that you can use, to become a better you. So being an introvert is categorized as a personality trait. The preference of being alone, not lonely, but being alone. One of the major things that people confuse is that people who are introverts are lonely people, but no, there is a difference between being lonely and being alone. Being alone is a choice I am making. Being lonely is an empty gap that I need fulfilling over somebody else that can come in my life, or I need something to make me feel a void. Introverted people tend to love quiet time. They tend to, love being on their own. They tend to love doing things on their own. They love less stimulating environments, like environments that literally are quiet and scenic and calm. They thrive more in those environments and drive more energy and inspiration in such environments. But if you're introverted, sometimes you may think to yourself that you're antisocial. Sometimes it may come up as though you're really antisocial, and it's hard for people to understand that I don't feel happy going out clubbing. I don't feel happy going for a party. I don't feel happy going for that family barbecue. I feel much more sad. I feel, less happy. A place that is meant to make most people happy and excited, it makes me more sad. And internally, I can be burnt out, because this burnout of an introvert occurs when the social limits of an introvert have been exceeded. Their capacity for social interaction, or your capacity for social interaction, has just gone overboard its limit. And I do not know about you, but for me, as an introverted person, every single time I feel burnout from being around people or forcing myself to be in environments, I feel much more fatigued. I feel much more drained. I feel much more tired. I feel very irritable, anxious. When you're irritated, you go to a party and everything is so irritating you. You stand in a place and you just want to be there on your own, but someone comes and starts talking to you. Someone comes and starts communicating to you and say something to you, or someone steps on your foot, or someone pulls away that glass, or splashes a drink, and you're just like, ooh, I need to get out of this place because I think I've had enough of it. That is kind of a characteristic of someone who is introverted, and that is the outcome of you feeling burnt out. Like you've been there for 2 or 3 hours, but it's too much. It's like, I need to go. I need to find an escape route, And funny thing is that this kind of feeling can affect you mentally and also can affect your relationships, because people around you in your relationships are thinking that you never want to come out, first of all. And when you come out, you want to leave a little bit early. Or if not, you're always complaining, or you have like a resting bitch face on yourself, to an extent that you have to explain yourself all the time to every relationship of yours and say, all your relationships or your friendships, and say, you know what? That's not the case. I just, kind of want to go home. This is a bit too much for me. But because they're extroverted, they don't understand when you say, this is a bit too much for me. They say, how is it too much? Like, it's just a chilled party, no drama, no nothing. But the essence of it is not the drama happening. It's just the presence of people in one room at the same time, talking and communicating and walking and just being humans. That becomes irritable. So tip number 1, if you want to kind of build social relationships and avoid burnout, is you need to understand the importance of a balanced social life. Because your social life is literally what builds you as a human being. You can't avoid being social. You have to be social in a way. You have to go out there, because if you don't, then it's going to create habits, or it's going to create situations that are going to be detrimental to you. You need to be out in society, because people are what make us, and we are what make other people. And you need a social life in order for you to be happy as you age, as you go older, as you go into new journeys in your life. For example, you become a new mother, you get a new job, you go into a new area. You need that social life and that social interaction to help you. So you're being an introvert, you're asking yourself, how can I do this? I already don't want to be out with people. I don't want to interact with them. They are just a little bit too much. So this is where you have to kind of like start introducing regular, low stimulating social interaction, such as having coffee with a close friend. Like, you don't have to have 3 or 4 people with you. Literally call up a friend and be like, are you up for coffee today? Let's go for coffee, because going for coffee is less stimulating. It's not too much. You're talking to one person. That person is talking back to you. You're having your coffee. You're enjoying yourself. So it's very low stimulating. It can help you build better connections and friendships, whether in relationships or anything else. Having a one-to-one time with that person is just so important. But always make it clear that I'm not the one for social events and parties, because they drain me a lot. And for someone who is emotionally intelligent, they would be able to understand and see that from your character that you are an introvert, and that can be too much for you, because being an introvert is a character, it's part of you. So when someone is emotionally intelligent or really cares about you, they will kind of understand that parties and too much crowds overstimulate you, so it's not something for you. So they will try to avoid putting you in such environments, or maybe rarely put you in those environments, only if need be, like a wedding that you have to attend, or a birth of a new relative in your family. Always plan alone time with your own self. Every time you step outside into a social event or an event that is overstimulating for you, come back and have some alone time with yourself, because that is where you recharge. An extrovert has gone out and partied all night from the beginning to the end. They're still shouting, very energetic. They want to find friends for numbers of people, and they feel good, they feel great, they feel recharged. But you're an extrovert, an introvert, it's completely different. So plan alone time with yourself to recharge in order for you to build better relationships with people, because if you don't do that, you are really going to burn out. Selective social engagements. 3 words. Selective social engagements. SSE. Choose events and gatherings that align with your own interests. Things that do actually make you happy. They may be busy, they may be crowded, but at least there is a sense of interest in there, so it helps you avoid, a lot of situations whereby it's very draining, and you can build kind of a social life or a social environment within that area, because you have something that interests you and you meet people that share the same interest with you. So you can try as much as you can to build those relationships. If you're an introvert, forcing yourself to go for a party because so many people are saying to you that you are boring, you're not entertaining, you're this and that. So you're going to a party, you're forcing yourself to go for a party that you have no interest in. You're going to burn out, you're going to hate social life, you're going to hate things of life that actually make you happy. So some of the strategies that you can use if you want to kind of build this social life is, first of all, you're going to recognize and respect your energy limits. You're going to respect your energy limits. Don't push yourself beyond your capacity. If you're aware of your own energy patterns, then it's so good. I know for myself, if I go out, maybe on a night out with my friends, if I go once every 5 months, I'm more than happy. That is for me. If I go more than that, it's a little bit too much, and it just doesn't work for me. That is a pattern that I know works for me. It is a step of self-awareness. Within that, have an energy management. And an energy management is literally on your calendar, put down the dates when you're meeting people or when you're going to socialize, and see what exactly works for you, And energy management is literally saying, you know what, I can only meet people. If I go out for this event, I can't go out for another event in the next 4 days. I need to go out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And that is my energy management. I'm trying to manage my energy in that kind of way. Because if you do it that way, you're going to build a social life that you're more happy about, and relationships that are more fulfilling than showing up and attending things that are making you more unhappy. The next point is prioritize quality over quantity. This means that you as an introvert, or us as introverts, we normally are people of deep conversations. And because we're people of deep conversations, it's better for us to keep a closed circle. So one of the things that has helped me is keeping a close circle of people that I can actually speak to, talk to, nurture, enjoy their company as much as they enjoy my company, which is really good. If you go for an event, or if you go for a party or a wedding and you meet someone, you're at the party, often say to them, oh, by the way, we can go out for coffee whenever you're free. Take them out of that busy, large environment and go and meet them outside for coffee and have those conversations with them. And then that's how you can build a social life. If you're trying to mirror what an extrovert is doing, you as an introvert, help me and tell me how you feel after that, because I believe you feel horrible. And you ask yourself why you feel horrible. But it's because you've reached your limit. You haven't made your energy management plan. That leads to selective engagement. You cannot say yes to everything. Your no's become more regular than your yes. Because in all this, in this whole bubble, it's all about you. Oxygen mask theory. Put your oxygen mask on before you can serve anybody else. The same thing with you being an introvert. You have to be selective with your engagements and say, no, I'm not going, or yes, I'll be able to go. That only is because you have to fulfill your energy. You have to kind of like put your energy back on, put it on a good level before you can help, before you can be social, before you can show up for your friends, before you can be there for them. So be selective with the engagements that you go to. And if the people don't understand it, then they are not meant for you, because the moment you create boundaries and people feel offended by the boundaries that you create, you just know that they were happy when you didn't have any standards and any boundaries, so they never thought of you any less or any better than that. The other tip is that if you want to build a social kind of environment and relationship as an introvert, create introvert friendly events or gatherings. You can have a small party at your house and invite a few people that you know what conversations you can have with, the ones that you understand, because you are the one controlling the environment, not the other way around. You have no control of that environment. You can control the environment and say the party starts at 2, the party ends at 8, and when it gets to 8, you start doing the cleaning. People will get the memo that it's time for you to go now. The party has ended because my social battery is gone. My capacity is non-existent. With that said, you can also engage in low stimulating activities like hiking, going to the cinema. I recently joined a group and we went hiking, and oh my god, it was the best thing ever because I didn't really have to talk to them. I just had to walk, but I felt the presence of people being there, which was really good. Because I'm not really good at holding conversations and making that kind of friendships because yeah, introverted, but I come off extroverted to someone who is watching. Communicate your needs to other people. Because you're an introvert, don't expect everybody to read you. Don't expect people to understand you. Don't expect people to think that I know who she is. No, you have to communicate to people. Like I said in the beginning of this video, people get offended to the fact that you left the party early. They'll get offended because your face is very cringy. They'll get offended because you've said no, to go somewhere. They'll get offended because of your attitude and your communication to people at that very party. You have to communicate this to your friends and tell them, or to the people that you're going to meet, and be like, you know what, I'm not very good with social environments. I'm kind of an introvert. I struggle in this area and I get overstimulated, so just excuse me, bear with me if I leave the party early, or if I'm looking a little bit like though I'm sad or unhappy. I'm not sad because of the I'm not sad because I don't want the party or anything to do with that. It's just that my body, or I've reached that point whereby I've gotten to the limit and I can't give any more social, skills or social talking and all that kind of thing anymore. And the last point that I can say to you is that practice self-comparison flexibility. Mind to yourself, being an introvert is not an easy thing. It's a lot of mental work, and it's a lot of understanding and teaching and learning that you have to give everybody else. But be kind to yourself. Just remember that it's part of your character and your personality. Accept it. Have management to help you manage it, because whether you like it or not, you need a social life. You need some kind of social life in order for you to function. And always stay flexible. Remember that what has worked now may not work for you. You were going to this party and this event, it was okay for you, but now over time it's draining you and it's not a good place for you. Be flexible with that. Always change things around. Don't stick to one thing, and just don't be hard on yourself. Because for you as introvert, it's all about finding a balance that you feel comfortable with, you feel happy with. But if you don't allow that balance to come through, you are going to be sad and you're going to hate yourself for it. So I hope those tips help. Let me know down in the comments below. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? Do you find it difficult to understand introverts, or do you find it difficult to understand extroverts? And what tips you have not had before that you can literally use or incorporate that can help you? Let me know down below. But apart from that, I remain Lucy A, and I'm going to end this video here. Until next time, bye.